Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are those Muckrakers. We're the shouty radio people. We had another name for our podcast at one point, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That is right, Pete. I am Pat, and we were Pete and Pat in the morning.
Yeah, we're not anymore because we were like, we're not the wacky morning radio zoo people. Although I
but
wish we were.
Could be.
Well,
we really could be. All we're missing is a soundboard.
Yeah, but we couldn't get it to work. That's the problem with like doing a podcast from like across the United States.
Yeah. And this week, we have a million things to cover. This is absolutely insane how much stuff has happened. Like, you were gone for a week, and also the world sort of took a week off.
Yeah.
And then you came back, and everything happened from last week and this week.
Well, nothing's really happening except for the fact that our president is a fucking maniac.
Yeah, and everyone around him's getting arrested and falling to shit. And we have so much awful things happening. This is crazy. Like, this is something that went completely under the radar this week. Mike Pompeo, the new director of the CIA, he owns a company linked to China, and he did not disclose this. Well, this was discovered, and nothing happened. He's not being removed from his position. He's not being arrested. We just move on, and nothing happens because that's the world we live in today. Anything goes. There's no order or rules of law.
Well, I'm hoping that like maybe what's going to happen is all the chickens are going to come home to roost when Mueller finally hands over his folder to whoever, and they go, "Oh yeah, let's arrest everyone."
Yeah, because that's if any of the listeners didn't realize, after Mueller's done disassembling this administration, the Mueller cases will not be done. The Mueller cases are going to be going on for the rest of our natural lifetimes. Like, unless science comes up with a cure to mortality within our lifetimes and lets us all live 1,000 years, this stuff is going to keep going on well after we're all dead.
Well, what's weird
because there's so many people tied to it, and he's going to be handing the cases off to other people, a series of other people, to keep prosecuting people after he's done with the core administration.
Well, what's really weird is people keep going, he's not authorized to investigate anything outside collusion, and I'm like, that's why he's handing. Well, also, number one, if a crime is still being committed, do you ever go to the cops like, hey, you just said you were here for this crime. You can't also be here for murder. You can't be here for, like, that's
the Whitewater
stupid.
Investigation had nothing to do with Miss Lewinsky, but it was discovered, and that's what Bill Clinton was impeached for, yeah?
Did you just call that Watergate?
I said Whitewater.
Oh, I
you
think
can go back and check the tape.
I
definitely said Whitewater.
Because Watergate was all on the tapes. Yeah, sorry, I was just like, you're mixing up things. Yeah, the point is, if they're looking for something and they happen, or let me do it in my old, because like Mike Huckabee likes to pretend like he's just a simple country guy, right? If you turn over a rock looking for worms and you find some other kind of bugs to use as bait, you can still use them bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're flipping over rocks looking for crimes and you're like, didn't find a misdemeanor, but it does look like there's some sexual assault under this rock.
Yeah, like way back in the day when Kent Starr was investigating Bill Clinton, he did not stop at no wrongdoings found with one thing. He looked everywhere, and eventually he found a huge mess that became a major thing in America for a long time. And it's the same thing with Mueller, but he's finding way more blue dresses.
Yeah.
Way more than just the one.
He's just got a closet full of blue dresses.
Yep. And speaking of stains left by and having to do with women, apparently the P tape is real.
Well, the president would not be so angry that there's the possibility that he bought prostitutes and had them pee on a bed and filmed it, unless it was real.
The whole thing is that Russia films everything when people are over there, particularly important people doing stuff whenever they think they're alone in a room so that they can use it as blackmail, right?
Yeah.
And part of the Steele dossier was, Russia has a tape of Trump going to Russia and hiring prostitutes to pee on a bed because Obama stayed in that bed and he just wanted to defile it because he hates everything that has anything to do with Obama. So he sat there and watched the women pee on the bed, and that was probably the extent of it, right? It doesn't seem like he had sex with them, doesn't seem like they peed on him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire accusation. Trump seems to know that it's real, too, because he's all like, you know what, Comey? What I need for you to do is to investigate this so that you can then prove to people it's not real, okay? Besides, I'm a germaphobe. That was his actual excuse. I'm a germaphobe, so there's no way this could be real. So,
all right.
okay, whatever.
Well, the thing about it is, so there's two reasons. I think there's a reason I think it might be real and it might be fake. I think it might be real because he's going ballistic over it. Because it seems like if people were like,
he
"Hey,"
is losing his shit. Like Comey is becoming the next Obama to Trump, right? Like I just explained, he wants to defile everything that Obama stood for. He right now wants to defile everything Comey stood for, and that's why he started with what was that guy's name he just pardoned today?
Scooter Libby.
Yep, Scooter Libby, Cheney's old assistant, who was
Well, hold on. The reason
the
reason I think that it might not be real, or the reason I think it might be real, is because like she doth protest too much. If somebody was like, "Hey, Peter, I got a pee-pee tape of you," I'd be like, "Well, I guess unless you're taping me while I'm going to the bathroom, I don't really know what you're talking about." I wouldn't get like real upset. But the other reason I think maybe it's not real is he is incapable of lying well.
Yeah.
So
whenever they asked him on Fox News, what about this tape, and he's like, you know what? I'm telling you that that doesn't seem like something that would likely be true, and if it did happen, I would be doubly embarrassed because I'm telling you now that there is no tape, and then if the tape's rolling, then that would be my embarrassment at the tape and me telling you there's no tape.
Wait. Did he say it likely? It seems unlikely I would do something like that.
Yeah. Like that's.
Oh, he definitely did it.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's roughly what he said on Fox News.
He definitely did it. He did it 100%. That P-tape is real. It definitely exists. Because if someone goes, "Hey, Wilder, did you murder that woman?" and you go, "That doesn't seem like something I would do," you murdered that woman.
Yeah, it's like, Peter, you know what? It would be really, really bad if you found out whether or not I murdered that woman.
I'd be real embarrassed.
Then what happened?
I'd be
real embarrassed if any evidence came out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
so yeah,
that woman was most likely already murdered when I was not there. So
he's freaking out. He's freaking out. Coney's become the new Obama. And I heard people go, "Comey leaked classified info. He should be prosecuted."
No, the fuck he didn't. He didn't leak anything.
Yeah, I don't think he did. That's
they're talking about the memo, right? Remember the original Comey memo? They're saying that was classified information because it was executive privilege, so that was classified information that he leaked. That's what they're referring to when they say that, and that was not classified information. That was his own private memo.
Wait,
had nothing to do with executive privilege.
So that was the one where Trump was at dinner with him. He's like, "Hey, I want you to be my guy, be real loyal," right?
And promise loyalty, and he wrote down some notes about that.
I don't understand how that's exact. Where does it? Is executive privilege real? Is that like a cop has to tell you he's a cop when he's undercover?
It's kind of sort of real. It's mostly if we're in a secret meeting and I'm the president and you're like the Secretary of State and we're talking about the and I happen to tell you, it's like, man, you know what? I really don't know if Syria is such a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't be dealing with that war. You would not then go out and tell everyone the president really doesn't want to do this war. He's just pretending like it. That would be executive privilege, and that would land you in a lot of hot water if you revealed it.
Why wasn't Nixon's stuff executive privilege?
He recorded it himself, and yeah,
but
it's some weird thing. I don't know how that works exactly.
But either way, that doesn't executive privilege doesn't make it classified, and as far as I know, it is not against the law. Executive privilege is not like a law, right? It's just kind of a thing that we. Maybe executive privilege makes it like inadmissible in court or something, but it's not like you can go to jail for violating executive privilege, right?
I would need to look up more on that, but that seems about right.
So the problem is he keeps trying to claim all these he's like the little kid you'd play cops and robbers with.
But as far as the Comey memo goes, that doesn't fall under executive privilege at all.
Well, he keeps using privilege like that annoying kid in your neighborhood. You'd be like, "Bam, I got you. You're dead." You'd be like, "No, I'm not. I've got a force field. Everyone knows I have a force field. Executive force field. You can't get through it."
There are some more conspiracies that Comey was one of the earliest leakers to the New York Times, so there is that, but that's complete conspiracy theory nonsense. Just some random dumb shit I've read.
Well, the other problem with leaks is that fucking White House leaks like a fucking sponge because he does not.
It really does. The Senate leaks like crazy. I know that John McCain's a major leaker, by the way.
Well, that's because
he's leaked so much shit about people that are supposed to be his allies.
Yeah, that's because his brain has cancer.
Yeah.
And he was tortured by the Vietnamese.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his lawyer was raided and is now under indictment. Michael Cohen is now under fucking indictment.
That is an enormous topic. That could be like, if we still had main topics of the show, that would be the main topic. I mean, oh my god.
Well, the whole thing with Michael Cohen, and here's the deal: is so Trump is yelling about like, well, I guess attorney-client privilege is dead, and go ahead.
So the whole story here from the top, Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, was on Monday, April the 9th, had his office and his current residency raided by the FBI, looking for, among other things, the Access Hollywood tape, anything that has to do with Stormy Daniels, and a lot of other stuff. There's still stuff that we don't know that they were looking for that they found. Yeah. And of all the stuff they found, he is now under criminal investigation as of today, Friday.
The reason this is such a big deal, despite the Trump lovers and the naysayers, is because to go to the Justice Department and go, hey, we need to raid the personal lawyer of the president's
they
home.
had a do not knock search warrant, which means they had reasonable evidence that he would try to destroy it, or they had reasonable evidence to point out that he would try and destroy evidence if they knocked, and also to get a warrant in the first place, you have to prove extremely specific circumstances to be able to look somewhere, right? Like, you can't just say, I believe this person's hiding drugs. You have to say, I believe this person's hiding drugs in a shoebox, in the closet, in the back of it, under a duffel bag.
Because warrants only let you search areas that could reasonably hide it. Like, if you're going in a place and you're
you can't turn everything over.
Yeah, if you're going into a place and we're like, we're looking for a bazooka. Like, you can't, like, look in the drawers and, like, in the bread box where a place where, like, a bazooka would not fit. Also, to get a warrant on to get a warrant on a lawyer in general, you got to have some good intel and some proof, because you're showing this to a judge and going, we're going to raid a fucking lawyer. That's huge.
And that is not only massive, but this is the president of the United States' personal lawyer, and as far as the attorney-client privilege goes, that does not apply whenever the attorney and the client are co-conspirators to commit crimes.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's out the window.
That's why any good attorney is, whenever something like that happens, they go, la 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 la, I can't hear this. I have to leave the room. I cannot be in here for this. Like, they could legally guide you, but once the criminal conspiracy stuff, the lawyer has to leave, because they know that will then invalidate attorney-client confidentiality.
Privilege.
Yeah.
Privilege, yeah.
But apparently, Trump doesn't understand that. He just thinks that, like, his lawyer's like a priest. And he's like, listen, anything I say to him is between me and him and big plastic Jesus on the wall, okay?
Forgive me, Father, for I've colluded. Now, what we need to do here is figure out how you can help me collude further, okay?
I would love to hear Trump.
I need for you to pay off my porn stars.
I would love to hear Trump in a confessional, because I wonder if he would confess, or if he would just brag about sins.
Probably brag. It's like, oh, it was amazing, Father. You would not believe it.
Forgive me, Father, for I have fornicated with so many women. It was so good. Incredible.
So that's the problem with thinking that the whole Stormy Daniels thing is just, hey, the president had sex, big deal. I'd said from the start that the misappropriation of campaign finances is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And this is that coming to fruition, right? Like, the president's lawyer and he doesn't have another lawyer, by the way. He has, like, this one guy with a crazy mustache, I guess. I thought that guy had quit. He hasn't yet. But basically, he has almost no lawyers left. Keeps trying to hire people, and they keep turning him down due to conflicts of interest, or just realizing that this guy's an idiot and won't listen to anything we say in the first place.
Well, now he's getting his own lawyers arrested, so of course they don't want to be his friggin' lawyer.
There's going to be that too, but this was before he was getting them arrested, so imagine him trying to hire anyone now.
Yeah.
And oh god, there's so much about this too.
There's a really interesting angle that I want to bring up. This is how I think. Either Trump he doesn't have that Cambridge Analytica magic anymore, or his spell is wearing off, because there was a governor
Cambridge Analytica's CEO just quit this week, and the whole company's falling apart.
Well, it was only there for I don't think it matters if it falls apart. They have all the data. They don't need any more. They have all the data, all of it.
Yeah.
So there's a governor, and I can't remember what state he's the governor of. So this lady came forward and was just like, yeah, we had a relationship, and he assaulted me physically, and sexually assaulted me. It wasn't consensual, and he told me that like something like, "Bitch, no one's gonna believe you," and like slapped me around and stuff. So she's coming forward with this pretty damaging testimony. And the reason I feel like Trump's spell is wearing off because this guy goes, "I know what to do," and he goes, "This is just a witch hunt," and everyone goes, "You're done. Get out. Get your things and get out. Also, you're probably going to jail."
Oh yeah, as far as the magic goes, like I had said this, I think before the election even, that Trump only works for Trump. I've seen a lot of other politicians try to repeat what he's done,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work. It's never worked for anyone. Everyone that's tried to repeat him has immediately fallen like 40 points behind in the polls. I don't know why people are so infatuated by the Mango Babadook here.
Because there's something freeing to some of these people to be like, "Oh, you mean I can just do or say whatever the hell I want?" And
why does the same freedom not apply whenever they see someone else doing it, though?
I don't know. Or why doesn't like doing whatever the hell people want? Like, can't we talked about this earlier? Why don't they do it for good? Like Roy.
Yeah, that's that too.
Like Roy Moore, instead of assaulting 13-year-olds, why did he use his powers for not evil?
I mean, God, we did get a taste of what Trump supporters must feel like, though, the other day when Trump was like, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll just take their guns from them and then go through due process." Whenever his supporters realized what the people that hate Trump feel like for the first time, right? They're like, "Oh shit, he's crazy and he might do something." And us anti-Trump people are like, "Holy shit, he's crazy and he might do something."
Well, like something that made me mad.
Yeah, he might actually do that.
Because
he's a lion orange, but
yeah, like so the other day, he friggin' remember with was it Xi Jinping, the Chinese president for life now, was talking to Trump, and Trump's like, "You're president for life? That's incredible. I don't know. Maybe we'll try it in the United States. We'll see what happens." Like basically was like, "Man, it'd be great to be lifelong dictator." As if that wasn't bad enough, recently he was talking to a crowd and he's like, "I don't know, some presidents, 16 years, multiple terms, I don't know, maybe we'll try it. I'm just kidding, unless you want to try it."
Whenever he said some presidents multiple terms, maybe he thinks 16 is 2 times 4, right?
All I'm saying is he's talking about FDR. FDR's fucking dead polio-ridden legs would be a better president than Trump.
Didn't FDR only make it like 10 years, though?
He died
halfway through his third term.
Yeah, he died partway through his third term of like a brain aneurysm.
And if he had made it just a little bit further, America would be so much better today. And the entire Republican Party today seems to be built around being anti that guy, right? Like all of FDR's plans is what the Republicans, especially these days, are fighting against.
Yeah,
like, people want to be happy and healthy, and the GOP's like, no.
Let's
take away their health care and their maternity leave.
I get so mad when and here's another piece of news that makes me mad. Paul Ryan's walking the fuck away.
That actually made me grin, but at the same time it's like, it's just weird that people consider Paul Ryan to be a moderate Republican when no, he's like a huge supporter of Ayn Rand. He is hard right Republican.
No. I'm not. I don't consider him like a moderate Republican. I'm just mad at him leaving because I want him to stay and live the is it John Boehner?
Yeah, John Boehner, by the way, selling pot.
Yeah,
He's a drug dealer.
I want him to live the John Boehner life, where you're just a speaker and everyone fucking hates you and you cry all the time.
That's what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Everyone hates him and he cries all the time.
I don't want him to leave. I want him to just be chained to the gavel as Speaker of the House. And Nancy,
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't get to pass the world's shittiest tax bill, ruin a bunch of people's lives, and then go, "Oh, I want to spend more time with my family." Guess what? We're going to take your family away. You don't get to see them anymore.
Says who?
Or, you know what? Let's send his family to Mexico. And then he can be just like all the people he hurt.
If anyone remembers this from 2016, you know what the beauty part is that Michael Cohen is the says who guy. It was one of the dumbest things that came out of that whole news cycle was when Trump was way behind in the polls and he was just like sending out random people that were still on his side to talk to different people. This one lady on CNN was talking to Michael Cohen and she's like, and he's way behind in the polls, so what do you think? Says who? Excuse me? Says who? What do you mean? He's way behind in the polls. Says who? Says most of them. All of them? And then there's like a 5-minute pause, and he's like, says who?
Yeah, like that's the kind of dumb fence post logic that we're dealing with here with like his hardcore base. And what's funny is his hardcore base has poisoned the shit out of like that article you sent me. I loved about the Republican senator ranting in the grocery store to the undercover reporter.
Yep, that was awesome.
Yeah, this senator basically can't say anything on the record, but like he meets this reporter in like a grocery store where he can safely rant, and he just goes off about how, what did he call Trump?
I will first of all say that this senator is a Republican who goes on Fox News regularly to defend Trump publicly, but when the public lights aren't on him, oh my God, he just loses his shit. It's like, because Trump is, I'm looking for it now.
I believe he called him he said he's like Forrest Gump except stupider and evil.
Oh yeah, it's like he Forrest Gumped his way into the presidency, but if he was like a really stupid Forrest Gump.
Yeah. My mama said my shoes could take me anywhere, even to the presidency.
My mama said my wall could stop any Mexicans from getting in.
My mama said life is like a box of chocolates. There's no collusion flavor inside.
Now, I don't know about no collusion chocolates, but there's certainly no chocolates, and if there were chocolates, I would feel really embarrassed because I'm telling you there's no chocolates.
I wish he would just tweet, there was no collusion, and that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Putin was my best good friend. And even
Putin,
I know.
I love Putin.
Even
Russian
I know.
Sandwiches, Russian shrimp bobby.
Russian dressing. White Russian drinks.
So, as a distraction about Cohen being arrested, Trump's trying to get us into a World War III.
Yeah.
As far as World War III goes, hold on, let me find this. Specifically, one guy in Russia said that they will shoot down there it is. The Russian ambassador in Lebanon said they will shoot down any missiles that target Syria, and they will also target the launch site of those missiles, and that means missiles coming at the US, which would definitely put us into World War III.
Or more likely, missiles coming at the warships we have in the Mediterranean or the Baltic.
And now we would most likely shoot down any missiles that were fired at us also, and then it would just be like a missile war, actually, where just missiles are blowing up other missiles.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's an article I was just reading today. The White House is on the cusp of starting an illegal war with Syria and risking a broader conflict with a nuclear weapons state, because failing to do so would cast doubt on the credibility of Donald Trump's tweets. That may sound like partisan hyperbole, or a pitch for an Andy Baldwin's column, but it is a plain description of the state of American foreign policy on this Friday the 13th.
Man, I wish you'd read news like that all the time. That's fucking great.
Did I do a good job with that? Because I couldn't really remember how the voice went.
No, I liked it. It was a little bit Tom Brokaw. It was a little bit Walter Cronkite. We need more news guys like that.
It's from a New York magazine, but yeah, basically, to keep reading it, earlier this week, the president decided to start his day by announcing over Twitter an imminent missile strike against the Assad regime. Since then, Defense Secretary James Mattis has been urging Trump to reconsider the potential downsides of such an action. Launching an attack on any significance against the Syrian government would put the U.S. into a military confrontation with Iran and Russia, states that are far more invested in propping up Assad than Washington is in removing him.
Yeah, like I said,
the thing.
They want that base right there. They want it. They need it. It's a regional thing for them. It would be like if they were doing something in South America. You know how hard we'd fight to keep a hold on like a base in like South America? That's why they're really invested in that region and Assad.
Yeah. And what was I going to say?
What I don't understand though is why, I mean, I'm sure there are more reasons this, but it seems like Assad is more of a headache than he's worth. I don't know why they don't cut him loose, like allow him to be killed or assassinated or flee the country or whatever, and put in a different regime, you know?
I mean, Vlad already has plenty of experience putting in puppet puppet dictators, so just do it again.
Yeah, but the problem with it is, I guess, is that dictator may not do what you want, where this guy has to do what you want. You know what I mean? Because if Russia and Iran stopped, and I don't know how much Iran is involved, but I know if Russia had not propped up Assad, he would have been gone years ago. That's kind of what turned the tide of the civil war. Was we didn't commit any assets really to helping the Syrian rebels, but the Assad government is backed by the full might of Russia.
I remember what I was going to say. Trump just this morning started talking about the construction of the wall is well underway when it's not. So that made me think back to what I thought back in 2016 even. It's like, why not just tell his supporters that he's building a wall, and they'll believe him because he said it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen? Are liberals going to explain to Trump supporters that, he's not actually building a wall? They'd just be like, you're lying, MSM, deep state cuck. It's like, they're not going to believe you whenever you tell them there's no wall.
Oh my God,
They wouldn't believe their own eyes. So just lie to this base, tell them that there's a wall. That solves all of our problems. We don't have a $2 trillion monument to racism along the southern border. And yeah.
I'm gonna make that part of our opening now, where I'm just like, the shouty radio people, the lying MSN deep state cucks.
I get that rant line from the Mrs. B Board show, which I also run on my my Twitter account. I mean, not Twitter, YouTube account, youtube.com/thriftingtonpost. I frequently have Barbara go into like a spitting, hissing rant, like the lion MSM, rawr. It's great.
I like the idea of us being called liberal MSN deep state cucks. Yep. But yeah, so like,
so why not just lie and tell everyone that he's bombing Syria? That's the point I was getting.
Yeah, why not? Why? Yeah, like, I mean, the emperor has no wall, right? That's what this is, where he's just.
Or Mattis could just tell Trump, yeah, we just bombed them. It went well. It's like, okay, cool. It's not like Trump reads.
You could just show him videos from the Iraq War, and he wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, or like Grenada or the Civil War. He's not going to fucking know.
I want to point out something weird, by the way. So, Mattis's nickname is like Mad Dog Mattis, right?
Yes.
It's weird when a dude named Mad Dog is going, hey, man, you need to calm down.
Yeah, there's a fun fact about that. The reason why Trump hired him is because of the nickname Mad Dog Mattis, but Mattis himself actually hates that nickname.
That doesn't surprise me. I've heard him described as like the warrior monk, like he's very cerebral and like all about, I guess, Sun Tzu winning the art of war, but like winning without fighting, you know?
Yeah. Now, if Mattis and General Kelly are both removed from the administration or fired, that's when we know that shit's seriously going to hit the fan, because they're kind of our de facto presidents right now. Like, the military runs ththings. If he removes them, then we have nobody running the country at all.
Well, I mean, they got to have some kind of contingency where, like, if he goes to remove Mattis and Kelly, that, like, they just pull the plug on the impeachment grenade and this guy's gone, right?
Maybe, like, they sort of have that in place with if he removes Mueller, they would finally start moving against him. Like, that's what that one senator ranting in the grocery store said, that he doesn't think that Trump will be stupid enough to do that, but fuck, who knows anymore at this point.
I mean, that's like every time they underestimated Forrest Gump. What did he do?
I just kept running.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, that's like Donald Trump. He just keeps dumbing. And then I just thought I'd dumb a little bit more, and then I would just dumb to the end of the street. And then I would just dumb all the way to the presidency, and then I would just dumb all the way to World War III. And before I knew it, I had dumbed my way all the way up to World War III.
My mama said my dumb could take me anywhere.
Yeah, my dumb.
Some new...
Yeah, fucking goddamn. What a fucking idiot. Like, I try real hard, like, with this podcast. I try to keep it, like, to not just be a Trump rant. But like I was telling you earlier, I watched the movie, the heist movie Heat recently, and Pacino's performance just made me realize that's how much I hate Trump. I hate Trump the way Pacino seems to, like, hate words and just want to maul them as he spits them out. Yeah. Like, just this visceral from your fucking gut, like, you know, we just want to tell the guy he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, Trump did do one really impressive thing this week, though.
What?
Yeah, I guess it would be just this week.
What did he do?
He's now the sole owner of the second largest power blackout in the history of the entire planet.
I want to know what the
that's
largest
impressive,
is.
Right? I do too. But if anyone didn't know, Puerto Rico is still, like, super fucked. President Trump is their president. He's said, "Don't worry, I've spoken to the president of Puerto Rico. Everything is well underway." But of course, he's bullshitting. He's lying because he's the president, so he's just making shit up.
Yeah, he doesn't know
Anyway,
that Puerto Rico's not a fucking other country. It's a U.S. protectorate.
This is U.S. territory. A new analysis found that 3.4 billion hours of customer service has been lost so far since that hurricane nearly wiped them out. And this is a really, really shitty case because just a year ago, I saw a plea that Lin-Manuel Miranda was making on behalf of Puerto Rico, saying they're really bad off right now. They really need help, and it was all about the debt that they're under. They're under such extreme debt because American companies, which are way less regulated over there because it's a territory and not a state, are able to just fuck people over and get away with it. And due to the crippling debt that they're under, they can't run hospitals 24/7. They have to shut down hospitals to save money and stuff like that. So that was already before the hurricane, the position they were in, and what they needed was debt relief, not a bailout, but relief. Lin-Manuel Miranda was very careful to say that several times. They're not asking for you to forgive their debt. They're asking for you to rebundle it in such a way that it can actually feasibly be paid
most places that have deficit and budget problems that are entities like that, if you just set up a debt restructuring for them, they can pay it off pretty quickly because they got money coming in. They just need to be able to start paying off. But the companies don't want them to pay off their debt. They want to move in and pick the place clean like vultures on a carcass.
Yep. And so when the hurricane hit and they desperately needed help, and one thing that President Trump said was, well, I don't know, they do seem to owe us a lot of money, which they haven't been paying off, so maybe they deserve a little bit of what's happening to them. Lin-Manuel Miranda went out to publicly tell President Trump, you're going to hell.
Well, if there is a hell, we're living in it, and he's king of it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that if Trump was running to take over hell, I would put in a good word for the devil.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, the devil runs this place a lot more competently.
That was an old Churchill quote about Hitler. It's like, I don't like the devil, but if Hitler decided to invade hell, I'd put in a good word for Satan.
What's funny is I like Churchill almost as much as I dislike him. He's one of those figures that was infinitely fascinating, but also infinitely racist. That's the thing about a lot of... He's
a perfect foil to Teddy Roosevelt over here.
Well, he kind of he's basically English Teddy Roosevelt. He kind of they give him a pass because he's like, we'll fight the Nazis. But if it hadn't been for the Nazis, I think people would have been like, that fat racist fuck. We kind of forget about that. Just people that were way more racist kind of came around, and he's like, well, I'm not that racist. I am racist, but not as racist as the Nazis.
Yeah. It's just comparatively, he seemed like a great guy, and then we always kind of whitewash history to sort of remove just how many rough edges, let's call it, certain historical figures had.
So have you heard,
say, the founding fathers?
So some great Trump news. I guess this is probably minor at this point. Did you hear about South America?
I'm aware that there is a South America.
You probably are more aware than Trump. So apparently they're having this Pan-American summit they have every year, right? So pretty important that everybody from the Americas goes, including the American president. But his excuse is, I'm going to stay in America and monitor the Syria situation, which is bullshit. Means he just doesn't want to travel to South America.
He hates traveling, by the way. He really hates traveling. When he went over to Europe for 11 days, he was bragging to people on the train that he made it all 11 days. And he's like, I bet nobody's ever traveled this far before. This has to be a new record. I can't believe I survived it. I have so much stamina. That was the one where he was the only one driving around on a golf cart while all the other world leaders were walking.
Yeah, because he's too fat. So they're sending Mike Pence over there, and it's already a fiasco because Mike...
Well, actually, no, wait. Mike Pence is an asshole, too. Remember, he, snubbed people in Korea.
Yeah. Well, it gets even worse. So he went and on the itinerary they talked about, and I can't remember which Latin American president they were going to meet with, and everyone's like, that guy resigned 3 weeks ago. Why is he still on the official U.S. itinerary?
Why is he?
Because we don't give a shit about Latin America, apparently. And here's the bad part about that. Here's the problem with not taking care of your neighbors and acting like Mexico and Latin America don't matter. Here's why that's important. It's the same reason pulling out of the TPP was stupid, because now we're talking about getting back into it. So pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and snubbing...
That was a big thing. Like, Hillary and Trump both said that they were going to pull out, but no one believed Hillary because people just like to hate her for no particular reason. They're like, she's lying. Well, now Trump wants to get back into it, and not a single one of his followers are like, that's bad because Hillary wanted to be in it.
Well, he wants to get back into it, and he says, but he won't go back into it unless we get a substantially better deal than they gave Obama. Here's the problem. Those countries have already moved ahead without us, and you can't come back into a deal you pulled out of and get a better deal because you're not offering anything. So the reason I bring this up, and this is why it's geopolitically fucking dangerous, is because those places were going to be allies with us against the rising power of China in the Pacific. It would give us a foothold, right? It would give us some influence. But now that we're not doing that, guess who's the big Walmart in town? Fucking China. The same with South America, right? So the United States snubs them, doesn't even go to the Pan American Conference. So who do you think they're going to be very interested in receiving investment from?
China?
Fucking China! And here's my thing. I don't have anything against China. My whole thing is I just happen to be born American, and that, like, I guess I root for the home team, and that, like, I at least want to see China's power balanced, right?
Yeah. Well, China does have a whole lot of human violations issues, human rights issues.
At least in America, we're somewhat conflicted about our human rights violations.
Yeah, a little bit.
I say we're somewhat...
I mean, at least we don't yet have suicide nets outside the buildings.
Right. Although when I came back to work from that cruise I was on for 7 days, you know what, a suicide...
You needed one.
Yeah, a suicide net would not have been a bad idea. I do work on a second floor. So
I picture you like going to the window, but like that one asshole that keeps blocking you in with his car parked in front of the window in the hallway, so you couldn't get to it. And you're
no.
I gotta live then.
To keep the children from jumping out of windows, they don't actually open, but like 3 or 4 inches. It's definitely not. It's not enough for me to get out of. But
Gotcha.
So the idea is that we're not only we're giving up influence, but we are actively giving up. We're basically giving ground to China, and that, like, they're a growing superpower. So to kind of at least, you know, have a buffer with which to kind of like push back on China a little bit. Having a foothold in the Pacific would have been a good idea. You know, really getting in, like, you know, really getting up close with, like, our South American neighbors. You know, maybe helping solve the fucking Venezuelan, like, crisis right now. Like, Venezuela, I don't know if you know this, but, like, they're running out of food. Like, it's turning into, like, some post-apocalyptic shit in Venezuela right now. Like, their economy is tanked, inflation is through the roof. Like, it's just, people are, like, fleeing the country because there's just no food in the country. It's that bad. But yeah, we're not.
So a step above or below Puerto Rico?
Oh, below for sure. I think I would say, because it's been going on.
Thousands
longer.
of people from Puerto Rico have been coming to the U.S. mainland. Like, they're not just all staying over there and being without water. A lot of them are finding their way here.
Well, my theory on that is
the fact that they can escape is good news.
Yeah,
and that'll also give us more voters against the Republicans forever.
Yes, but but with Venezuela, it's not like you can just be like, okay, I'd like to leave, please, because most other countries are going to be like, no, you don't.
No.
Think again. Back to your country. But yeah, so instead of like moving into South America, and we've always done that to South America, by the way. If you look back historically, we at one point, we kind of like, you know, they all fought for their independence, and then we kind of pushed Spain the rest of the way out, and they were like, yes, you are going to help us, correct? And we were like, no, man, listen, we're going to fuck with all your stuff, but we're just going to tell the Europeans they can't fuck with your stuff. So that's where, like, the term, like, Banana Republic comes from. Like, we topple governments and then set up governments that were friendly to the fruit companies, you know, and stuff. So we've always treated South America with the utmost just disrespect. And treated them like shit. So it would serve us right if they all become like little Chinese colonies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's my whole rant on the whole South American thing. That's why creating strong, like, you know, partnerships with our South American neighbors and Central American neighbors are so important, and we're just not doing any of it.
That's actually a really good lead-in to my That's Cute news of the week.
Oh, you're still doing this That's Cute?
Yep.
Oh, God,
this week is about coal.
All right, what's cute? What's cute about coal?
Well, as we all know, China is poised to be the world's greatest superpower in about 20 years, and one of the leading ways they're going to do it is with solar energy, which they have such a commanding lead over us in that basically our solar power is going to cost us 25% more forever. Like all green energy going forward. I mean, not solar, but all other types of green energy, because China's so far and beyond ahead of us. Despite that, it is still so much cheaper to use green energy, even here in America, that the coal industry continues to die despite all the regulations in the world being slashed. They are just not profitable anymore. So Scott Pruitt, oh Lord, I have like a whole section on him I was going to do before this. We'll do Scott Pruitt second then.
I
Scott Pruitt, he did everything he could to gut regulations, and he still cannot save the largest coal burning plant in the western U.S., which is now set to shut down and be decommissioned next year. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say I would just like to hang Scott Pruitt in effigy and beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see.
Like they're deregulating shit that doesn't even make any sense. They're like, yeah, you can dump coal sludge in the rivers. Yeah, fuck it. Just I don't know, man. Fucking use orphans to fire up your coal furnaces. They're like, orphans don't even burn good. And they're like, fuck them.
Yep.
Like they're doing shit that doesn't make sense just to be evil.
Yeah. And despite Trump and Scott Pruitt's best attempt to kill off new sources of energy while artificially propping up the old ways, coal just can't compete with the prices of green energy, and they're losing too many customers. So now tens of thousands more employees are going to be going out the door because the free market's spoken and its natural forces have begun to choose winners and losers.
Yeah, it's this thing I tell myself sometimes, and I'm really worried about, like, upcoming things at work or like, big life events. In my head, I go, well, guess what, man? Time is going to move forward whether you want it to or not. So you might as well just kind of ride with the wave, because you're either going to ride it or be carried by it. But either way, you're going forward through the door of the future. And it's annoying that they don't see that about technology. Like, it's going to go forward. Like, people aren't still like, you know what? I don't like the automobile industry at all. I'm going to stick to my horse.
Now, one last fun fact about this fun fact is that they can't even sell the factory or repurpose it later or do anything else with it because it's actually owned by the Navajo Nation, and its current regulations have been grandfathered in over time. So if they, as soon as the current boss leaves, no future bosses could have the old regulations. They would be under modern rules and
Yeah,
regulations.
no, basically they can't sell the company to anybody else.
Right. So it could not possibly, in any way, ever be retrofitted again to be profitable.
But I
It's
feel
just
like
not realistic.
what they're gonna do is like the day it's gonna close down, they're gonna invite a ton of Navajo Nation people, to come like cheer on, like, oh, this coal plant's being decommissioned, right? Gather a big crowd, and then what they're gonna do is just like pack it full of explosives so it can blow up and fuck people over one last time.
Yep.
Like, because that's just the kind of shit they do.
Yeah.
Like, so you got Scott Pruitt just like basically bringing in a bulldozer and going, yeah, that's an that's an EPA building. Yeah, just run that the fuck over. They're doing the same with the FDA. I was telling you the other day, this is pissing me off. There's a new law going into effect, and they're trying to push through the FDA called like the Last Chance Law, where basically.
Yeah.
If you're dying and you just want to take an experimental drug just to try it out, you can do it without any kind of FDA trials or approvals. And it's bullshit because you can already.
It does sound good on paper, though.
Oh, it sounds great. But the problem is, you're basically selling people. It could be fucking snake oil because it has not been in any way tested by the FDA, so you don't know what it does. But dying people will buy anything. If I told you
for any price. For any price, like their family will sell a house to buy $100,000 pill if it might save Grandpa.
Yeah, dude, if I bottled my own shit and sold it to cancer patients and said, well, it might help, they'd buy it because that's what you do when you're dying.
Yeah, or forget about Grandpa. Let's say mother and father have like a 10-year-old kid that's dying of cancer or something else really, really horrible. They're not going to let, nothing is going to stand in their way of getting something that might help their child.
Yeah.
Right? They are not going to be emotionally capable of looking at something saying, well, that's probably not going to work, so we're not going to sell the farm to buy it. No, they'd be like, fuck it, sell everything.
That's where the FDA comes in, because their threshold is so low for, like, they have this thing called quick track drugs where you can do a quick trial, and basically, as long as the FDA determines you're not like, oh, you just made a vat of poison, that killed everyone. So the bar is already low. We don't need this, but it's a wonderful money grab for corporations that make drugs. It's
smarmy assholes.
Oh, it's a huge, man. Like, you can make so much money off of nothing. You could sell people sugar pills, and if they haven't been FDA tested or anything, fuck them. Like, It's every single agency you look at is being anything that is out to help people is being fucking dismantled.
Yep. And speaking of dismantling and smarmy assholes, Scott Pruitt, the current head of the EPA, CNN recently had multiple pages worth of scandals that this asshole is embroiled in. So he's badly fucking up the environment and rolling back anything and everything Obama did for it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that somebody out there is taking notes of everything he's doing so we can put it all back to the way it was in the future. But there's a number of things that's wrong with him. For one thing, he insists on riding first class because he gets verbally harassed by people that are telling him that he's fucking up the environment. So he gets freaked out by the public and he's like, I want to be separate from them. And so he does that. But also he does weird things like Hitler. Like, he wants a bulletproof desk and a soundproof box to take phone calls in.
What? Why?
Yeah, he ordered a bulletproof desk so that he could hide behind it, and he has like this giant glass box that he will not take a phone call in unless he's sitting in it, because he's worried people are listening in on his phone calls.
So, I'm gonna as a guy who has a desk, I'm gonna share a little wisdom with you. If you're so scared of getting shot that you want to make your desk bulletproof, maybe you should think about the reasons why you're afraid of getting shot, and maybe why people in, like, business class are calling you a fucking asshole, and then stop doing them.
Yeah.
You know what I wish for Scott Pruitt? I don't wish for death or dismemberment. I wish that Scott Pruitt gets this, not like eternal life, but I hope he gets a greatly exaggerated lifespan, so that like he's just kind of invulnerable. Like, he'll eventually die, like, but not for like a long time. So he has to live through all the like environmental like changes, and like as the world dies because of what he did, he's just walking around like a scorched earth where everyone's dead and there's nothing left. I just want him to know it's his fault and to live through it.
For a long, long time.
That's what that's what I wish for him.
He keeps letting CO2 emissions go up and up and up until we hit that critical threshold, and suddenly Earth becomes Venus, and all we have are acid clouds in the sky and acid rain all the time and endless thunderstorms, and he's just standing out there on the scorched Earth, and all the oceans have boiled away and there's no water anywhere.
Yeah,
just
like, he can feel all the pain of a human,
soil.
He just can't die for like a long period, like hundreds of years. Like, he just gets to see the fruits of his labor. Piece of shit.
So here's the current scandals, that any one of which should remove him from office, right? I haven't even gotten to the scandals yet. One, he rented a room from the energy lobbyists. 2, raised 2 aide salaries after the White House declined the request. 3, asked security to use sirens to cut through traffic. 4, reassigned staffers after they raised concerns about his spending. 5, requested 24/7 security on personal trips such as the Rose Bowl and Disneyland. 6, spent $120,000 on a Vatican trip. 7, hired 12 more agents costing at least $2 million per year. And 8, is the flights in first class and military jets.
Why does it cost him $120,000 to go to the Vatican?
I don't know. I mean, that's how much money Ben Carson spent on like a desk.
Yeah, that's true. And then he tried to blame his wife.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
So,
but it's cool, man. People are starving to death, and Puerto Rico doesn't have enough power, but you go to the Vatican.
Yep. And another admission of collusion by Trump on accident. One of his 4 a.m. tweet where he said, "No collusion or obstruction other than I fight back." Well, isn't that like if I said I don't eat meat other than Fridays, then you would assume I still eat meat then, right?
Well, the whole thing about fighting back is, I mean, I guess you could read into it as like, oh, he'll get a lawyer or whatever, but like, You can't be like, there was no obstruction except for the fact that I don't let cops push me around.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait till he just starts tweeting even crazier stuff like, you know what, Mueller? You're getting colder. Colder. So cold. Warmer. Warmer. Like, that's just all his tweets, you know what I mean? Hey, Mueller.
Yep.
Marco.
Polo.
That would be the best, right? He's tweeting it, but then he just hears Polo whispered in his ear, and it's Mueller.
Just like over his shoulder. Oh no, the McNuggets are speaking to me.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. It's a fucking mess, and it's just like, God damn, like, I didn't like the political machine, but I at least liked it better when it was fucking competent.
Oh, Michael Cohen's also the deputy national finance chairperson of the RNC, so
Oh, that's great. So yeah, they're real
one more
fucked then.
fun
Yeah, they're
yeah.
man. If he's the chairman of the RNC, then he's got so many files that I feel like are probably like shit that people don't want other people to hear.
I have stuff on Lou Dobbs too, and all this other stuff. Oh my God.
What did Lou Dobbs do? I thought Lou Dobbs was just a talking head. Is he an actual person?
He's a real person apparently. I actually used to somewhat like him in another life when the Fox News propagandists were more like, it's funny watching them bitch and moan about the system they can't do anything about, right? Until they actually influence their listeners enough to get hurt.
Well, what I meant by was, is Lou Dobbs a real person? Is he a politician, or is he just like a Fox talking head dude?
He's just a Fox News guy.
Okay, all right, yeah, because he's the old guy with like the soft voice, and he's like, I'm Lou Dobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he put out a poll. Do you believe that the corrupt leadership and actions of the DOJ and FBI are now so outrageous and overwhelming that President Trump should fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein?
What did the poll say?
3/4 said they did not think that he should fire them. So only 25% were in favor of it.
That's pretty bad.
Even as biased as fuck as his poll was, he still couldn't get the answer he wanted. And it's a public poll, so no one could, anyone could call him on his bullshit if he tries to misrepresent the facts.
Yeah, you're losing your own fucking, because your base is divided now. You have people that have a limit that are going, oh my God. I call those like the silent majority. You know what I mean? Those are the people that are just like, I don't know if I believe this stuff about Hillary, but I can't vote for her. Those people, right, that vote party. So I think they're all gone. Like, he's lost them. I think they're just trying to ignore him till he goes away. But the problem is, anybody
I hope
that,
so.
well, he's got a, like, oh, my folks. I tell my folks a little bit about him, and they're like, oh my God. Like, they don't try to justify it. They just go, I'm going away from politics. But the problem is,
because I look at the polls though, and they're actually ticking back up in his favor. So I am afraid that his insanity is being normalized to the point in which his followers are once again okay with the majority of what he does, and he'll have to do something considerably more outrageous, like nuke Florida before he'll actually lose 2% more.
Even if he nuked Florida, like, the thing is, they will always, they have to be deprogrammed. He's like a cult leader. He's got them to the point where it doesn't matter what he does. So those people are fucking lost. The people I argue with online, for the most part, they're fucking lost. They're done. There ain't no fixing them. It doesn't matter. If he goes, all right, ladies and gentlemen of America, I'm president for life. That's right, just me. I am dismissing Congress. Congress, you fired. Like, if he did that, they'd still be like, woo, all right, thank God we finally got ourselves a monarchy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would.
It's driving the liberals crazy. They're super pissed. He made himself king for life. Winning.
They're so triggered. All the liberals are triggered because I am the king, and everyone has to do what I say. So,
when everyone's bitching about him, he thinks he's winning. That's what that one congressman in the grocery store said. That Trump doesn't know what winning actually is. There's going to be so much winning. His idea of winning is everyone complaining about him, right? I must have done something right because everyone's bitching.
Here's the other thing about the press. I've been reading.
They're bitching because he's destroying the planet and ruining America. But
I've been reading a lot of like Zen stuff, and so I've gone into this whole like questioning like why I feel anger, and like, you know, like I like to think about it a lot. Like, I think about why I have to constantly edit myself on this podcast so I don't make threats against the sitting president.
Right.
You know, God knows, I don't want to be the next, like, because all it takes is one asshole to be like, oh, man, and then the cops are kicking in your door, and you'll probably be all right, but, like, you'll be held for a while, and you'll be on the news, and they'll cherry pick the best bits of what you said and be like, this guy says this, look at that.
Yeah, maybe, but also remember that one guy that followed like all the police orders and they still shot him in the head?
Oh, yeah, that could be that, too. They could just, like, the guy where they were like, do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, motherfucker! And he's like, okay, I'm sorry, I put my right hand in. And then they were just like, bah, like, just shot him. And he's like, dude, you could have just said, get on the ground, you fucking freaks. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yep.
Like,
it's like everyone was screaming over one another. He was following every instruction they gave him,
yeah.
But whenever they said scoot forward, he thought that they meant with his hands, like reach out, grab the ground, and pull himself forward. But that meant he unlocked his hands, and the second he did that, bam, bam, bam!
Well, that's like the guy in Brooklyn that there's a whole thing about, and I loved how the news changed about this. There was a mentally handicapped man that everyone in the neighborhood knew who was out in the street with like a shower head. And I guess he was just like his normal, like, you know, there's a New York homeless saying where people kind of mutter to themselves, like, oh, Scott Baio, like, you know,
Pinka!
Yeah, they do their weird thing. And so they call the cops, and the cops showed up and were just like, bam, 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 bam. They just shot the shit out of him. And so the original news story was, they called the United States, they called in, they said the man's acting suspicious. He may have a gun, I don't know. But the original news story said, man with shower head, shot dead by cops. And they showed a picture of it, and it is clearly a shower head, right? Clearly a shower head with a piece of pipe attached to it. Then the news story changed in favor of the cops, where they go, a cop's shot a deranged man today carrying a piece of pipe. And then it changed again. I read another news story that said, cops today in Brooklyn shot a deranged man holding a piece of pipe that looked very much like a gun. And I just was like, nope, call it a shower head. They shot a man to death with a shower head. It was a shower head, a fucking shower head. And they shot him. Say shower head. Say it. Say it.
Shower.
Yeah.
Clam chowder.
Clam shower head. Fucking
Clam
assholes.
chowder head.
And I'm not faulting the cops for, like, I mean, I am faulting the cops, but it was a silvery thing. They couldn't tell, right? But I'm faulting the news, and this makes me mad because they were just like, oh, yeah, piece of pipe that looked like a gun. I was just waiting for the news to finally be like, black man holding a gun that he magically turned into a shower head after forcing police to shoot him over 8 times.
Yep.
There's also, you tell me did you hear the news coverage about the lady's torso found in New York?
No.
Now, I wonder if they're just wearing a weird news cycle or if it's because she's black. Yeah, but they found like a fucking dismembered torso in one of the parks here in Brooklyn, and then they found the other pieces of her, and they finally identified her. But I only heard it briefly on local news. I don't know why that hasn't gone national.
That's weird.
Do you think it's because she's black, or do you think it's just because, like, we're like, I don't know, man?
I mean, it absolutely could be a race thing, because if it was a white person who was found dismembered in a black neighborhood, they probably would be focusing on that. If it happened in a more southern area.
Yeah. It was weird that, like, that's not even being, like, talked about, like, because here's the thing, I heard about the torso and them finding other pieces. I listened to the news and I did not hear that they'd identified her.
Huh.
So, yeah, it's all crap, man. Like, God, you would assume that the news would have been like, oh my God, a torso! Get on it! Jesus, man. Anyway, it's all crap. But my point is, I'm reading Zen stuff. I'm trying to be more Zen about things.
I like that that's the point you're getting to. Everything's crap and there's torsos! What happened to that guy's head? Anyway, I'm more Zen these days. I'm way more centered.
No, I'm not way more centered. I'm trying to understand what my chewy nougat center is.
Gotcha.
I had a horrific dream last night that, like, I had to go into a house and drag out people into the sunlight, like loved ones. Like, for some reason, all my loved ones are vampires, and it was up to me to go drag them out of the house into the sunlight so they'd die. And I don't know what that means psychologically, but that's where my dreams are at now.
Weird.
Yeah.
So I promised last week that I would do a pirate corner, so how about it's time for Pat's Pirate Corner? Yar!
I guess. I always hate these. What are you doing? What's going on with pirates?
Well, just some facts about pirates. I said I could put together like a 5-minute segment, and so since I mentioned One Piece last time, I decided I'd go over all the real-life pirates the worst generation in that series were based on in today's Pat's Pirate Corner.
Oh, I was gonna say, One Piece is a comic, and they're not real pirates, right?
The worst generation in One Piece are rookies who have made it to the halfway point of the Grand Line, which is a particular oceanic route with these are people with bounties of over 100 million of the currency in that universe on their head. There are 11 of them when they arrive. At the time that they arrive, two of which is the let's see.
Are you just gonna tell us about One Piece or actual pirates?
Actual pirates? But anyway, only two of them were captains. So let's see who they are. Oh, actually, I'm not doing all of the worst generation because some of them weren't based on pirates, like Luffy and Zoro. They're out. Also, Beige was based on Al Capone and so forth. So this week's Pat's Pirate Corner is about Trafalgar D. Water Law. And actually, I just realized what time it is. Our podcast is running late, so we'll have to continue this next week.
Oh, thank God, because I did not want to hear any more about One Piece. I want to read it, but I didn't want to hear about it on the podcast. Just if you want a real fucked up pirate factoid real quick. Blackbeard once blockaded Charleston Harbor, and if I remember correctly, forced the governor of Charleston to give him his daughter in marriage. And then had all the guys on his pirate ship run a sex train on her.
That was a more fun story till the sex train.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't consensual. Anyway, so that's a little pirate factoid for you.
Now you asked me in another podcast what political party I felt like I was most affiliated with, right?
Oh yeah, I got something to tell you about that too.
I think I finally know which political party I'd like to throw my hat in with.
Was this one of those weird ones where they're like, a boot in every kitchen?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a name for it, or are they just one of those weird...
I was just answering yes, it is. It's one of those.
Oh, God.
This is the Hungarian two-tailed dog party.
Okay.
It's my new political affiliation, officially. Their campaign promises include immortality for everybody, 2 sunsets a day, and flooding the streets with booze on holidays to help combat traffic.
My problem with it is, anytime I hear the word Hungarian in, a political party, I don't go, oh, it's a joke. I'm just like, oh, I bet that's some kind of Hungarian, far-right Holocaust-denying movement.
Most of their parties are like that,
yeah,
unfortunately.
That's why, whenever you're the Hungarian two-tailed dog, I'm like, oh, God, is this where I find out that Patrick is a fucking Holocaust denier? Jesus.
Peter, did you know that some of the details about Hitler was greatly exaggerated? There's an interview with their candidate on Hungry National TV.
Fucking Pat's Holocaust denial corner. Some more factoids about how the Holocaust wasn't real, Pete.
If you go to Auschwitz, the ashes on the ground there you'll find are only partially human.
fucking Pat's.
The ashes which choke the air and make it impossible to breathe without breathing in victims of the past is actually some of it's wood, some of it's coal. We don't really know what all of it is.
Pat's Zionist corner.
Zionist would be pro-Jewish, but anyway.
Well, okay, hold on. So Zionist is pro-Jewish, but the only people I ever hear use the word Zionist are
because they hate Zionists.
Yeah,
they
fucking
hate
Nazis.
People that are pro-Jewish.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And also, Zionist is kind of a word that only people that are anti-Jewish would use.
Right.
But
yeah.
Anyway.
It's just like George Soros's name is only used by people who are crazy Nazi conspiracy nuts.
Correct. But I saw their candidate on Hungry National TV where he came on dressed like a chicken and he only said cluck cluck for 5 minutes. That was his prepared statement, which he did write down, by the way.
To be fair, that's more articulate than our current president.
Cluck people.
Well,
remember that?
Well,
he said, God bless him, mama.
Yeah.
And then he had to have the psychological evaluation just to prove that he wasn't losing his mind, which he bragged about passing.
Well, when he sent he brags about passing a mental competency test.
Yeah.
That tweet, that dumb tweet he sent to Russia where he was like, "Look out, Russia, missiles are coming at you, nice and new and smart."
Yeah.
Like I talked about
That was yesterday.
Like I talked about earlier. This guy, the one thing he does is he talks a lot of shit. He's not even good at that.
He's not. That was Cambridge Analytica. All of his best shit talking was whenever he had an entire company working for him.
Is it weird?
Nowadays,
I miss Cambridge Analytica. They've only been gone a day.
Yes.
God almighty.
No.
Hire a speechwriter. I'll write your fucking speeches just so I'm not subjected to like this you're friends with a gas-killing animal who kills his own people and likes it, okay? He likes the smell of his own farts, too, and he smells them all the time. Like, he sounds like a 5th grader trying to insult you.
Yeah. Yeah, the Palmer Report just put out, like, a list of his best quotes from just today alone, right? Thieves and lowlives, leaker and liar. McCabe is Comey, untruthful slimeball. Great honor to fire. Lied.
Yeah, he's. Eventually, we're gonna get a tweet that just says like, Mueller's going to indict him, and it's gonna go. I know you am. I know you are, but what am I?
You're probably right the first time. I know you am, but what am I?
I know you am, but what am I? You are Mueller, and I am glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Okay.
Okay.
Fucking asshole. Why am I angry? Why am I so angry?
I don't know. Now this is fun. Actually, I was just I was here at the Palmer Report's Twitter page. They're proud to be followed by President Obama and blocked by Trump Jr. But apparently, just today, the real Donald Trump blocked them.
Oh, nice. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it's an honor to be like. I mean, goddamn, dude. At least Hitler was articulate, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that our president, like that guy.
Yeah, we're saying, Hitler was bad, but he's not as bad as the current leader of America.
Like that senator that made the rant in the grocery store. That was my favorite thing that he said when he was ranting, and he says like, "Oh, they get rid of this guy? Oh, they're gonna hate Pence because he's exactly the same, but he's fucking competent."
Yeah. That was like the final thing. It's like, y'all want this? Is that really what you want? Actually, I mean, Pence is kind of tied to all this too. So I still think like my favorite thing in the world would be if Trump and Pence were both taken out at the same time after the midterms, and then we got President Nancy Pelosi. But there is one thing I would like even more than that.
What's that?
If the Speaker of the House, instead of nominating Pelosi, they nominated Hillary Clinton. Because you can do that. You don't have to be a sitting congressperson to be Speaker of the House. They can pick anyone. And once they pick Hillary, and if Pence and Trump both get like booted out at the exact same time, then we get President Hillary.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't a Hillary fan, but you know what? Just for the sake of watching these moronic cult people's heads explode. I would enjoy that. Just the shitty part of me would just I would just start responding to people with like my own Trump style tweets like, "Hey guys, guess what? President Hillary is coming nice and new and smart." Okay. Like I would basically make all the tweets but about Hillary, like, look at that. Donald Trump, slimeball, liar, is gone. My great honor to welcome President Hillary Clinton.
It'll just be a Hillary meme with like her in sunglasses with "deal with it" written below there.
Oh.
Just respond that with everything.
But
you know that Hillary in 1920 accepted bribes from a foreign power? It's like Hillary won. Deal with it.
You know what I would do? I swear to God, if that happened,
Buttery Miles.
I'd get a Hillary tattoo that said it was a portrait. I get a fucking portrait of Hillary, and I swear, I promise this, I will do this. I will get a portrait of Hillary tattooed on my body with the words "Thug Life" underneath in like old gangster script. If Trump and Pence are fired and Hillary becomes their next president, I'll do that just as a reminder of what we lived through and the fact that I didn't want Hillary that much, but goddamn it, she would be so much better than this bullshit we have now.
That's more of a fun hypothetical, but it's extraordinarily unlikely. I mean, I would be happy if in the course of events we ended up with President Pelosi, or even President, like if they both like go out super fast and we end up with President Ryan and he's like trying to leave.
Oh, that's the best!
Quit.
Yes, I want Paul Ryan to be a lame duck placeholder president. That's what I want for him. You can't leave, bitch. Now you got to run the fucking country, and we all hate you. So you get up to that podium, you fucking asshole.
because I do believe that Ryan would do a shitload better job than Pence.
Oh, yeah,
I believe he
yeah.
would at least stop trying to fuck people over.
I just wish he wasn't an amoral fucking asshole. Like, the one thing he's done, well, he's done a lot of things that made me mad, but the one thing he's really done is when he's, like, called Social Security and entitlement, and I'm like, I pay for that! Like,
Yeah.
that would be like if I went to Ruby Tuesdays and I got the salad bar with my meal, and I'm like, let me go get some salad. And they're like, you and your entitlements. Motherfucker, I paid for this salad bar, and I paid for Social Security. You can give me back all my Social Security money if you want to call it entitlement. Then I'll gladly go blow that money on bodega sandwiches and other bullshit.
Yep.
Fucking asshole.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that is the way of things.
Yeah,
God, we pretty much ran through.
Yeah, that's
everything.
what we do, man. And
that has been our insane week in America. And it's a short week. Like, well, this is only like stuff that happened from Sunday to today, not even last Friday to today.
Because this is how we do
God.
it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, this will eventually end because I don't think he's smart enough to set himself up as a president for life. I don't think he's got the charisma. I don't think he's got the support. He doesn't have the support of the military. So this will end. It's a matter of when will it end, but it will end, and he will go away, and he will be a fucking shit stain in our memories.
Yep. I saw something this week that gave me hope for the long tail of this podcast. Like, what really helped launch it was how angry we are at the current administration. But even after it's gone, like, this is the reason why we didn't name ourselves, like, fake news or something, because we didn't want to be tied to Trump forever.
Well, we were originally going to name it Snake News, because I love the idea of, like, it's snake news, it's news from snakes, snakes dressed up as people, okay?
Yeah. But we didn't want to always be branded with the Scarlet T. So, you know, in the future we'll be covering other stuff, still like whatever's trending in the news, but also like just fun things we found. Because this week I found an article from 2015 about the lunchrooms in Congress, right? The House has their lunchroom and the Senate has theirs.
We didn't even get to talk about that. Oh my God, I didn't even get to read that full article yet.
We'll talk about that next week then. Okay, next week you'll get to hear about the lunchrooms that the Congress people have to deal with and the funny silverware policy they have. It's great. It's like this is fun little story that we could definitely spend some time talking about in the future whenever just like major horrible shit's not going on. So we don't have to rant and rave.
Next week we'll bring you the history of the Senate cafeteria and Spork Wars.
Spork Wars. Is that like Storage Wars?
That would be great if the Senate cafeteria worked as like you go bid on a little shed and they open up the door and it could be food or it could just be some old clothes. But either way, you have to pay for it.
It was kind of that way for a while because they didn't know what was happening with the salad bar, and like they had a nice one and then that was gone, and then the next day it was a nicer one, but like everyone became super protective of it because it might be gone soon too. We don't know.
We'll talk about it more next week.
Yar.
Oh God, I'm fucking tired from being angry.
We're tired of being sick. We're sick of being poor. Wait, that's something else.
We're tired of being sick. We're sick of being poor. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
I don't want to wait for my trapper keeper.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to plug besides telling people to come listen and subscribe on iTunes, Twitter, anywhere podcasts are found. We still got to pull up a list to do shout outs because I think we had like one or two more people that had given us a rating. I don't remember. We didn't cover everybody, but we that's our thing is still in effect. If you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I do check periodically, but what Peter was about to say is if you give us a rating on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever, we'll give you a shout out even if it's a terrible rating. It could be like 1 star, worst shit.
Oh yeah,
you could. We'll still give you a shout out and be like, hell yeah, this person took the time out of their day to let us know that they know that we're alive.
You can rate us like Trump would rate Comey. You could be like, this podcast, slime bags, scumballs, liars.
Lies. Witch hunt!
Witch hunt. Well, I just want to say before we go that, like, look out, President Trump. The podcast is coming at you, smart and new.
And fresh.
And funny.
Hey.
And also really, really angry.
So email us at thosemuckrakers@gmail. Follow us at thosemuckrakers on Twitter.
Yeah, we're not getting any email, and I'm to the point now where I'm about to start posting our podcast in one of those crazy, awful pro-Trump Reddit threads just to see if we could get some hate mail.
Yeah, we've been checking out _Donald on Reddit, which is just the worst bastion of scum and villainy I have ever seen. Scum and villainy and stupidity.
Yeah,
like they have
but it's not even
dedicated.
it's not even a good place to find
called like the what's this Huckabee Sanders called? The Huckabee Down, the daily Huckabee
Well,
Down.
it's not even it's not even a good place to find a star pilot, so it has no redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
it's like the Mos Eisley Cantina if it was all assholes.
Yeah, and they instantly ban you if you say anything against Trump. So it's the most echoey of echo chamber.
Well, that's
all
why
it is, it's just a bunch of people sucking their own dicks like Steve Bannon.
Hey, I don't suck my own dick like Steve Bannon. Hey,
yep.
Oh,
Scaramucci reference.
Scaramucci, we miss you, buddy. Come back. Or not
that
really.
was great. He was around for 11 days. He had the Huckabee Down job before she had it. But after Spicy, who was the guy who famously hid in bushes to avoid reporters. Like, this has been pure chaos. What the fuck? And yet Trump still gets on his little Twitter and says, there's no chaos in the White House. Well, yeah, because no one works there anymore. They've all left.
It's because they're in the White House and sucking their own dicks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hey. All right, yeah, I guess we better wrap this up because we could just go on for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter, send us emails. We look forward to hearing from you.